Hey friends, welcome back. Today is a fairly slow burn mixed media video. I play with some paint and then some distress crayons, so grab a drink or a snack and we'll get started. Today I'm making 8 mixed media tags for my Betty White journals. I'm making 2 little Golden Book Betty White journals. I wanted to make 3 tags for each, but then I threw in a couple extra cards just in case I really like what happens, and I'll have some for myself. So the first thing I'm going to do is be using some paint. I am doing some mid-century colors here. I have worn lipstick, cracked pistachio, peacock feather, speckled egg, and salvage patina. My standard tag is a number 8 Dina Wakley mixed media tag. It is a white tag rather than a brown tag. I like less grunge and a lot of bright colors, so I prefer using the white. Spread this one with water, and I'm just going to give it a moment to soak in. Just going to kind of swipe through in different directions. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know what I like, and I try to make that happen. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay. Gonna go with some peacock feather. While these ones dry, I'm gonna do the first layer on some more tags. A little cracked pistachio. When I'm working on a bunch of tags at the same time that are kind of like a series in the same colorway, I like to lay them around, not just for visual clutter, but in case I see something on the mat that looks interesting, I can just grab whatever I'm working on. With limited space, sometimes, I don't have a whole table next to me where I can lay out drawing tags, so a lot of times I would have to walk across the room or get up out of my chair. It's not supposed to be an upside down smiley, but it looks like it. And I do like to have an occasional big chunk of paint on a tag. So I'm sure you see many variations of that on the table, or the the tags I've been working on so far today. And of course, after the paint dries, we have a second round of media because we're going to be using some crayons. That's about to get a little muddy right there, so I'm going to pull that out. Gonna add some more pink. That is a lot. A lot. Let's see what we can do with these ones. This peacock feather has started to dry already, so it gets those lines, and those will stay. I really like those at the moment. Next, this one just has a large drip along the side. It is still wet. I don't know how much I can get up, but I'm just going to try to grab a little bit of that. That's great. And since I have so much paint on the mat, I just grabbed another tag. That speckled egg really does add a smoky effect to all the colors. So. Oop! Good thing I'm wearing a work shirt. All right, I'm putting these all down on my mat. Okay, I was able to somehow shove all of the tags onto my We Are Memory Keepers tray. They are going to all dry naturally, not that it really matters, but I'm not going to be heat setting them. I have an appointment, and I will be back though when they're dry, and we will do some crayon. Okay, there were a couple of spots that aren't dry, so I'm just going to hit them with the heat tool. All right, so they're all dry. And before we move on to crayon, I just wanted to mention that these are going in my Betty White journals. If you didn't know, there's a Betty White little golden book, and I have two. Actually, I'm working on one for a friend and another that will go in my shop at some point. So I am going to use 3 of these in each journal. So I wanted to just kind of pick out the ones that I'm going to continue to work on. I like the ones with the green. Then a couple that have the speckled egg. Those are great. And then these ones that are the super bright peacock feather, I'll take those as well. I'm going to set these aside. And I was, before I started filming, playing with this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick out some crayon colors. I wanted something that was fairly dark. When I started with my prototype here, I used yellow, which still lifted great, but it didn't provide a lot of contrast, and I wanted a lot of contrast. So I'm using darker colors. So the 5 crayons that I chose are Evergreen Bough, Lucky Clover, Salty Ocean, Broken China, and Mowed Lawn. I'm going to start with these 2 tags, and I'm going to use Evergreen Bough, Thinking. Start with actually the blues. So I have Salty Ocean and Broken China. So for this technique, you can either color over the entire tag or surface, or you can just do sections of it. So I'll do it both ways here. And the, I don't know, do you call it viscosity? The ability to kind of blend and the creaminess of the crayon itself depends on how old or how dry it is, like how dry your climate is. The crayons continue to work, even if they get a little more dry. You just have to work with them a little bit to get them moving. I don't know what the correct chemistry terms are. But so for this one, I'm going to start out here, and I'm just going to lay down the color. It's not going to be perfect. Doesn't have to be exact, but I do want good coverage. These ones are fairly soft, so you can see that I'm able to blend out some of it already. I'm not worried about covering all of the surface. I don't mind some white spots. A couple of these will be tags. A couple of them will end up pockets, and I'm not sure what else. So let's see here. All right, so there's that one. And this one I'm going to do just a more even coverage, even though it's not going to immediately look like it as I'm coloring. Grabbing Salty Ocean. Just stuck my finger in the crayon. Okay. Gonna use my dot stencil today. I'm using the Blick Black artist tape. You can definitely also tape down your tag if you want to. If it's a little waxy, it might not adhere that well, but okay. So we have a couple of options. Often I will lay the paper towel down and spray it this way because I don't want to spray the stencil, the water to bead up on the stencil and you know, blobs of water to kind of end up underneath the stencil. So sometimes I will do it this way. Today I am going to just spray the towel and I'm going to give it a good spritz. You can run this under the tap if you want. And wring it out really well. People often use baby wipes for this. I don't have those, so we'll not be using those. But you can see I'm just really kind of smashing my fingers into where that crayon is to pick up as much of that as I can. All right. Before I lift it, I just take a second to think about if I need to do anything else. I think that's good. There's my paper. A paper towel. Here's the tag at this stage. Where you have sections of a lot of the crayon, it will seem a little shiny, and if that doesn't bother you, then you're good to go. You can buff it with a dry cloth to just buff back the shine a little bit, but remember that you still have an active medium on your tags, so you don't want to buff it too much if you're wanting to keep that same pattern of your stencil. At this point, I will often just kind of do a review. I will take a look at areas that I might want to just remove any of the crayon that I feel like is just covering up something good, or if I feel like it's a little too much coverage. But I'm only seeing a couple spots here. Here's a spot where it's a little shiny from the amount of crayon that's on there. Don't forget you're also going to leave fingerprints, so if that bothers you, then be careful. Okay, I really like dots. I like this a lot. I like that you can still see that smash through of the color. in the background too. This one, I'm going to go ahead and spray with water. I'm using my distress sprayer. I'm going to use the big drops so that I can get some big drops of water rather than a spritz. And you do that by just slowly holding down. Oh, well, that wasn't a very good example. There you go. It will concentrate the water if you just do it very slowly. Take my towel. Like that. Let's do a little bit more right there. Cool. Just taking a look around to see if there's anything I want to remove. Take some of that off of the pink there. So it really is just mixing the crayon together over that pink paint. So I'm just going to take a little bit of water. Oh, it's going to slide right over. I do that in a couple different places. All right, let's do two more. Here I'm just going to do a section across the top. With some squares. Now y'all know I prefer a circle to a square, but we'll see what this looks like. I already pulled so much of that crayon off that I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but we'll see. Oh, yes. Let's do that again down here somewhere. Try that again. Hey, it worked. I like this a little bit better. This probably, that's a little wet there. Pulled more of that up. Definitely bright with elements of grungy, but not brown, which I like. I mean, I don't mind brown. Just not what I was going for today. Lucky Clover. Using this one, which always reminds me of the 80s. Let's see, how about that? So now that I'm done with this part, well, I'm not done, but I'm done. The next thing I'm going to do is just add some layers, just some ephemera layers. I might use some vintage or antique paper, but you would just use whatever you have in your stash. And I will come back with some finished tags for you to review. Let's see how this looks. Oh, let me get a little more of this one, though. Hey, I like it. Looking for something that's dry. Yep, just pushes back that shininess just a little bit without messing with my triangles. My triangles. My triangles. And for my last act, I am going to do this thing. It's going to put crayon all over this tag, not as heavy as I was doing it on those others. Going to smush it around a little bit. This one is this particular crayon is just a little more dry than my other ones. I don't know if I purchased it earlier, but it still works and it'll still react. It's just taking more muscle power. Muscle power? Antimatter, though. I just said antimatter, don't tell anybody. Who says antimatter? But the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and move everything out of the way, and I'm just going to give it a good spritz. I'm going to spritz the top, but then put some bigger drips at the bottom. Let's see how it goes. If you're interested in checking out my Betty White journals, just let me know, and I can list that. I know I've done quite a bit of little golden book stuff in the last little bit, but I do love them. And it's Betty. Oh, I don't like that at all. Here's what I'm going to do. Hey. Okay. Fabulous. I'm going to try it again, though. Also, I have somewhere to be, so I'm running late. But let's try it one more time. See what it did. Hey. Yep. Perfect. I like that one a lot. Definitely there's some color back there that I want to see. Okay, friends, let's see what we got. First of all, I backed each of the tags primarily because it gives them a more finished look, but also there is, you know, paint and gunk on the back of all of the tags. So I used an old encyclopedia from the 50s for a few of them. This is a Betty Crocker dessert cookbook. So they both have chocolate cake. And this is another one with sports cars. This article said that there was, at the time, 100,000 sports cars on the road. Is that a lot? Maybe it was then. So this one has a little bird die cut on it. It is a little glossy. You can see that from the light. I put a punched out piece of map. This is actually a nice design label, but I covered it up. And then a Tim Holtz tag. This one I used one of these giant PET floral stickers. It just happens that it had this bit of pink that ended up on top of the pink paint here. I like to use these frame stickers and frame just something random on the piece. This one turned out pretty good. You can see the buffing out of some of that crayon gave it more of a matte finish. And of course you can see the outline of the PT sticker. I used a stapler and just stapled on this little label. He looks like he's looking at you, questioning your life choices. This is a chalkboard label. It feels kind of like textured vinyl almost. This is the one with the checkerboard. Did end up covering up a lot of this. And here's that last one, which was the prototype. These are actually, these two have little pockets, so I might try to stick something in there if I remember when I'm putting the book together. So thank you for watching this one. Let me know if you have any questions or, I was gonna say concerns. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Put them in the comments below and hype them if you got them. Thanks for watching. Bye.